Good morning. I'm still reporting on the coup. Rumors persist that President Trump will be arrested on Tuesday. However, three esteemed former federal prosecutors appeared on Fox this morning and ridiculed the idea of Trump being successfully prosecuted for a 7-year-old payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, a payment that she has lied about twice.
Apparently, the reports are that the Manhattan DA office is divided, that this looks a lot like what the FBI looked like under Russiagate, where the top guys, remember, Alvin Bragg is a Soros-funded DA. These are political people, highly radical, and they want this to happen. And everybody else underneath is going, there's really nothing here. They see it for what it is, which is a political prosecution. And I think it's interesting how you mentioned that Donald Trump got this standing ovation. This may end up having the opposite effect that these radicals that are trying to continue their persecution of Donald Trump. I think it could have the opposite effect.
It has so far.
Yeah, it has.
In
Absolutely.
every wild goose chase after Donald Trump, it has added up to Wile E. Coyote.
With Donald Trump, the story itself with Stormy Daniels and all of that kind of goes into the persona he had before he ran for president. So that's not going to hurt him from a moral or ethical standpoint.
Right.
The problem is, as all of our legal experts that we've had on has told us, this seems like a state district attorney trying to prosecute over federal charges that the federal government decided not to prosecute over.
Exactly.
And we want the president to get a fair trial.
My old office, the Southern District of New York, the federal prosecutors in Manhattan, also wanted no part of this case, which hinges not only on the testimony of the porn star, Stormy Daniels, but at the same time, she's on record a couple of times saying it didn't happen. The other crucial witness here is Michael Cohen, and I think probably the feds walked away from him because of his deep credibility problems. So you're not starting out in a great place with those witnesses.
First, here's Elon Musk. He says, if this happens, Trump will be reelected in a landslide victory.
Well, Rachel, it's hard to say it's anything but political when you look at a DA in Manhattan who drops over 50% of felony charges in that crime-ridden city down to misdemeanors. And yet he's managed to try to find a way outside the statute of limitations where cases would normally be barred to bootstrap a misdemeanor into a felony that's maybe a state crime, maybe a federal crime. The feds declined to prosecute. The Federal Election Commission declined to prosecute. Yet Alvin Bragg thinks he has a crime here. I think it seems political to me.
We've talked about New York City juries. What about a New York City judge? I mean, would this, in your mind, what is the fairness of the available pool of judges?
And the judges in New York are the same. They're Democrats, they're pro-Bragg, they're anti-Trump, and I don't see any of them stepping out of their Democrat lane.
That's depressing.
In order to show that there is this extended statute of limitations, and it's a way federal prosecutors do it all the time. I did it. You charge a conspiracy, and then whatever the last act of the conspiracy is the time that statute starts running. So to get inside that 5-year period, I think Bragg will most likely charge a conspiracy. He has to. This crime happened over 7 years ago, and the person with whom he's going to allege that Trump conspired is Michael Cohen, his lawyer, the convicted felon, convicted liar who testified before the grand jury reportedly last week. Well, this is a really serious time because this is Banana Republic sort of stuff.
Amen.
Using the law as a weapon against a political opponent is so wrong. It's one of the main reasons that the United States of America formed and broke away from England, because of all the injustice in the criminal justice system at the time from the king. And that's what's happening here. You've got someone acting like a king in Alvin Bragg, who's decided that because he doesn't like a political opponent, he's going to twist the law into a pretzel in order to get him.
Well, there's a term of art for this in the criminal law world, and that's a hyphenated term, and it starts with chicken and then it ends with IT. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Technical term.
It's a technical term, but it's a real term that's used. The question you should ask yourself about this, and anybody who's watched me over the years on Fox knows that I'm no big fan of Donald Trump. But the question to ask yourself in a case like this, would a case like this be brought against anybody else? whether he or she be president, former president, or a regular citizen. And the answer is no. This is preposterous.
Why? Why is this preposterous, Saul?
Well, like I said, number one, because it would never be prosecuted this late against anybody else. Number two, it is in most instances under New York state law a misdemeanor. It can only be a felony if the falsification, from what we've heard, this is about falsification of records. That can only be a felony if the records are falsified to conceal another felony. So there are real questions here whether or not it ultimately stands up because of statute of limitations concerns and other concerns. It is a weak sister case.
It seems to me the purpose of this is actually to get a photo of Donald Trump in handcuffs this week.
Well, I actually doubt that's going to happen. I think that they're going to, first of all, they've got to deal with the fact that he has Secret Service protection. That is the New York authorities. And I would say that would be very, very stupid on their part to do a perp walk, to release a mugshot. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be on Tuesday, from what I understand, either. It'll probably be this week. So I don't think you'll see that. On the other hand, apparently this DA had originally decided he had no case and was pressured by the progressives to change his mind on that. So this really is
Why? Why would it be strategically advantageous for Trump to deal with this one or have this one run out front?
It's because it is so obviously political, and it's such a chicken bleep offense.
And then it could undercut the others. Would be the idea.
I think so. I do think all of these charges, if they're brought, are going to ultimately harm him politically. But I think it makes perfect sense that he would prefer to deal with this first, because the charges
are so weak.
It's brought by an elected official, Democratic official, and it would obviously be political.
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.